I'd be silly with the sound effects.
DJ Kelly, DJ Perry. Welcome yet again. Brian Oles, if we haven't met yet, founder and president here at Black Speakers Network. Super excited to kick off another Speakers Magazine live cover reveal. This is April 2023.
Yeah.
I'm, of course, joined by none other than Dr. Pam Perry, founder and visionary here at Speakers Magazine. Good morning, Pam.
Hey, good morning, Brian. Good morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. Glad to be here. April is it's springtime. It is
Yes.
spring. And
Now, I
it's
was in
like the day
Detroit 2 weeks
before
ago. I'm
Easter.
not sure if anybody notified y'all yet, but it is actually spring.
I know it was crazy. I'm sorry. It was boot weather and sweaters. So yeah, yeah.
It was snow in Tam. I don't know,
It
but
was crazy and windy. So yeah.
and then we're of course joined. Of course, we have Miss Kieara Johnson joining us, and she's featured in this issue as well. All things
Yay.
business. Kiara Johnson, founder and CEO. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, and what part of the country are you in or from right now?
I am from Detroit, Michigan.
All right, so right down the road, right down the road.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have the one and only featured gloriously on the cover of the April 2023 edition of Speakers Magazine. Tam R. Luck is in the building, CEO. How do you put Tam? How do you pronounce your company's name?
Deluxe Life, because
Deluxe Life.
yeah, my last name is Luck, so Deluxe Life.
Makes
It's
perfect
it's
sense.
cool too because it's like deluxe, like it is deluxe. So she's a Brandon whiz, so that was just cool.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. And then we got one other speaker backstage as well. I see Dr. Telishia Berry is here, so we could go
There
ahead
she
and
is.
bring her in.
Yay!
The courageous woman is in the building.
Oh
Good
my God.
morning. Good
We've
morning,
got
Dr.
two
Berry.
Morning.
PSTs
Good morning.
and three ESTs. Right, right, right. We've got two West Coast people or and three East Coast people. I
Oh,
love
nice. Dr. Berry,
technology.
where are you from?
Those are my Michigan sisters, originally from Flint, Michigan, but I am here in California, Los Angeles.
Oh, well, super early good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right. So yeah, let's go ahead and rock and roll, Pam. Obviously, we have a lot to cover, and this is a packed issue. Tam, again, congratulations. How are you feeling? I know this is your first time being on the cover of Speakers Magazine. You have an incredible event coming up in Las Vegas. So folks about to jump on the plane. How are you feeling?
You know, it's been a lot going on. I'm excited. This is a thrill, actually, and I can't thank Dr. Pam Perry enough for thinking of me to have me on this cover. So excited. Perfect timing also, because we were talking about the event, and so I'm really excited about that. Excuse my little frog. We've been in the middle of moving. On top of that, we just purchased a home, so it's a lot going on at the same time.
This is the trait of someone who is like seriously multitasking, right? And I told her the other day, I said, you move close and move in on the house of the week that you're doing a major event that has a gala at a five-star resort, uh hundreds of people flying in, major speakers. I was like, oh, I said, why don't you have a baby in the middle of this too, and launch something else? It's like, oh my God, it's like a lot. But I always say, and the Bible says it's to whom much is given, much is required. And the more you give busy people, the more that they really handle all of the things, and they handle it with grace and ease. I mean, she's up. Talisha's up too. She's got a webinar at noon. Kieara, she's got 5 kids. I mean, these women are bossing up,
Yeah,
going into the queen of the issue, right?
yeah, y'all are making me feel lazy. I'm I literally just woke up to do this. So
This is how they do. This is how the
it's
only thing I did earlier today was like I got a pedicure earlier today before doing this. And that was like the main thing. But it is so much when I tell you this is, and I say this every month, Brian, but I seriously mean this issue is beautiful. Oh my God. When I saw this cover with Tam on the cover, it was just like I felt so I can't even explain it, but it just was so beautiful. It felt like butterflies. So I don't know if you see I got on butterflies, but like if we go into this little thing on the butterfly over there, it just felt like spring, like we are all about to soar and fly.
Absolutely. It does give me like very spring vibes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think, very appropriate time. I personally am ready for I'm not a big winter person. My birthday is in August, so I'm always excited when the seasons change, at least here,
Hmm.
in the mid Atlantic, and it's time to do something new. Now I want to read the back of your baseball card a little bit, Tam, for the people that may not be as familiar with you. And so you've now, like, your company has published 10 books, 10 Boss Up books. You're providing platforms. And of course, here in Black Speakers Network, we have just an incredible community, 16,000 plus speakers, authors, coaches, meeting planners, folks who are folks
Hey,
who are just
don't go past that 16,000 in the community. And this is only year 7, I believe.
yeah,
That's
growing.
roughly about 10,000 people a year growing, roughly around, but yeah.
Well, I think that, it's in large part to incredible partnerships like this, Speakers Magazine with you, Pam, platform partners. And so I really think that it's just incredible to see, what you are continuing to do. And you are not only, it's one thing to boss up yourself, but it's another thing to provide opportunities for other people to do that exact same thing. And so
Mhm.
excited that you're doing that. And then these your events, I know last year you completed 6 city tour, 11,000 plus attendees. And so just really want folks to know the level of impact that you're coming into as we move into the season. And so it's I think sometimes people look at the cover of Speakers Magazine and they're like, well, how do I do that? And I'm like, well, I do believe that people who are making the type of impact, deserve to have their voices and their vision amplified. So congratulations on everything that you've been doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. When you first start these things, I know you both know, or all of you know, you may have a vision for something. You may not quite see how big the vision is going to be. You might not think it's going to be what it ends up being, but you just stay really true to it. Be very focused on helping people and getting people to the next step. And shoot, next thing I know, where a book just started to be a book became a whole movement, and now
Mhm.
we're in year 3, and we've just finished the 10 books that we published as of last year. And this year we're working on 4 new books. We're about to publish a couple in a few months here. So it just, when you hit it just right, and people can really see the authenticity behind it, then they really do get behind you, I think.
That's key.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
then we have Kieara and Dr. Berry here. And so I do know this the event coming up in Las Vegas, and that's I know we're going to spend a little bit of time just talking about that, but this is going to be April 12th through 14th at the M Resort and Spa,
Mhm.
Las Vegas, Nevada. And so we're
Mhm.
talking about women who boss up Las Vegas. So
Yeah.
Dr. Berry and Kieara, you're both a part of this event experience.
And
Yeah,
Dr. Telishia as well. Yeah.
Perfect. Dr. Berry, are you ready? You looking forward to dropping some knowledge in Vegas?
absolutely. I'm so excited, get ready to get on that flight and head to Vegas, to share with the women about, writing and what it entails and, how we can help them boss up with their writing.
Mhm. Mhm. Because one of the things that collaboration is the new black, right? So Talisha has a magazine that is older than Speakers. It is going on 12 years old.
Yeah.
12
Yeah.
years old. So she's one of the ones that's been in this space for a while. She's been doing magazine, Courageous Woman magazine, for 12 years. She's had on her cover, name some of the cover stories if you've had.
Ooh, Vanessa Bell Calloway, Jody Watley, so many amazing women, Wendy Raquel Robinson,
Yeah, yeah.
Shirley Ralph, a lot of
Shirley
amazing.
Ralph, right. So these are women that California, is where she's from. She's from the film industry. She actually is part of a talent agency. Her daughter is actually a photographer. Her son is an actor and producer. That whole film movie star movement, right? So she left Michigan and she went out there with the stars. But for 12 years, she really did Courageous Woman magazine. And so we partnered and we have been partnering together, even though Speakers Magazine has its own niche, Courageous Women has its own niche, and then TAM has Boss Up Women as well. But all of this can't be done without collaboration with people like Brian and people like Kieara and also Letitia Nicole, because everybody has their own lane they run. Everybody has their own way that they put things together and how they see things. And everybody brings their own little, I guess you say their own juice to the event. And
On
I'm
juice.
just excited that they're part of it. And they said yes to be a part of Tam's Boss Up event because they're all bosses. They're all bosses. Kieara won an award. She's a serial entrepreneur. She won an award from National Association of Women Business Owners 2 years ago, I believe it was, or 3 years ago, for a business that she had, a vision that she had that started. And every time there's something that's new, Brian, she's on the cutting edge of it, whether it's Chat GPT or what she was doing with a charge station. She had ChargeBot as well. She sees opportunity. That's a true entrepreneur. It's kind of like with Tam. She sees something. Only it's been 3 years. What started out as something then grows. And so her
Love it.
current company is a virtual assistance company. So everyone is, since COVID, everybody's been virtual. So now you need virtual assistants. We always needed them before, but she has a little bit different spin on how she does it as well. So all of us are just excited to be a part of the Boss Up movement, which is what Tam is really talking about. And I want her to kind of tell us how that came about, how she, quote unquote, coined that term, bossing up.
You know what's interesting, and I'll give you a little bit of story. I won't give you the whole long story, but it goes right back in the early 2000s. I was in real estate and I had an investment company. So I owned a bunch of real estate, had my real estate license. I've had my real estate license for almost 20 years. And so I think I got inspired by Rich Dad Poor Dad and started buying all this property. I had a hair salon in Beverly Hills that I owned. I owned some duplexes, multifamily, single family, mixed use, retail, all these different things. And I was doing really well, as I thought. But then the economy changed, and I didn't have the mentorship really to understand how to get myself out of a lot of loss. And in that moment, around 2008, I had to sell a couple of my properties. I lost one. And I got really down on myself, not just down on myself. I started to believe that I couldn't do it. And I started to believe that I couldn't even take care of myself. So I went all the way down to ended up sleeping on my girlfriend's couch. I mean, it was really bad. It got in my head and I couldn't shake it. And it was like that for a couple of years, actually. But then I started to come out of it, dig myself back out of the hole, do some personal development, really working on that. And then fast forward, now we're in 2020. My business is doing well. And all of a sudden the pandemic hits and I start to feel, oh shoot, what are you going to do? So the thing I asked myself was, Tam, what are you going to do? Are you going to bury your head in the sand again? You're going to get back under the ground? You're going to dig yourself a little grave? I said, no, I'm going to boss up. I'm going to boss up. And so with that, I said, well, then how are you going to boss up? And I started to make my plan and strategize. And that's when Women Who Boss Up came about. I started to look for other women on social media that felt the same way that I did. And without even any proof, I didn't even have the proof to show them, hey, this is what I'm doing. I started talking, got some people behind it. And that was the first issue. So that was the first issue. I was just thinking there's going to be a little thing. And it actually took over my whole business. And that's how we ended up with 10 books done, 4 more on the way. And it's amazing. And so it's really just about, it's bossing up in my mind isn't a negative term. Like, people start sometimes associate the word boss with something unlikable because a lot of us have had bosses that we didn't like. But boss up really means to believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's all it means. Believe in yourself and go and start moving through. Because as Maya Angelou said, there's many people that have died before you, failed before you, been raped before you, been all these things. And what are you going to do? So I really take that to heart to just get up, boss up, and keep on moving.
I see a lot
that.
of parallels in the 2008. I mean, going back to that recession, the housing bubble collapse, and I see a lot of parallels between that and the pandemic, with people
Mm-hmm.
having to figure so much stuff out. Dr. Willie Jolly said a setback is a setup for a comeback,
There you
and
go.
look at all the incredible businesses, entrepreneurs that um, end up having these incredible stories of perseverance like that. It's really inspiring.
I want Kieara to tell her boss up story. Literally bossing up. Okay. Working at that job, just over broke job, right?
Yes.
Tell them about it.
Yeah.
Don't leave
Um,
nothing out.
well, yeah. And so I worked at a law firm. It was a business law firm, and I actually loved the job that I had. However, I did have another company, as Dr. Pam mentioned earlier, with my husband, and we had a cell phone charging stations that we rented out to events with like companies like Chrysler, Ford, all of the automotive companies and other big organizations. But I wanted to be able to do that full time. And I have my degrees in administration and things of that nature, my bachelor's and my master's. I said, well, I can do this job actually for myself. And what ended up happening was that the pandemic hit and I ended up losing my job in the midst. And because of that, this company, All Things Business Center, which is a virtual assistant agency, has really just blown up because everyone started their own business and they needed help with how to do things. So we were helping people start their business. We were helping people with their day-to-day tasks, with their social media management and their website. And the funny thing is the silly reason of me being let go from that job was over a certain client. It just so happened, as I was walking out of the door and getting ready to get in my car, in the parking lot, I got a call to get my first client, my first virtual assistant client. And that one client completely took care of the
Mm-hmm.
financial side of things. It was exactly
Yep.
what I was making that month, working 40 hours a week, that I
Yep.
now have a client working 5 hours a month, making the same amount of money. And then
Yes.
I also got the client that client was going after. They actually have been a client of mine for now 3 years. So it's just funny
Mm-hmm.
how things work. And, but I've just been excited to be able to really help people because although we are a virtual assistant agency, we do a lot. And we do a lot to make sure that each and every one of our clients are successful. And you have to be able to boss up, right? We did get into business to be bosses, to boss up, right? To
Right.
be strong leaders. And the best way to do that is building a solid foundation. And that's what
Yeah.
we are here to help and hopefully to be able to portray that to the audience that's going to be there at this event.
Mm-hmm. That's so
Ni-
good.
Nice.
Yeah. It's one thing to have a business and a side hustle, but then there's another thing to really just have a company and systems and operations, the things that aren't quote unquote sexy or fun. Those are the things that make you have $1 million company.
No, I
And
think
Cam
systems are
knows.
very sexy. I love systems.
Me
Well,
too.
yeah,
I'm right
you.
there
Systems are
with you,
sexy
Well,
to
one
Dr.
of
me.
the things that you did, well, you like systems. Wasn't engineering your major though, Dr. Ryan?
Yeah, I was a electrical engineering major for about 12 days. So, that gave me a nice foundation. And then I took that and went right on over to the School of Business to finish up. So,
But see, I have a background in computer information systems as a part of my degree. So that's probably why I love systems as well. But I get a lot of clients who say they work with $1 million companies and multi-million dollar companies who do not have systems set
mhm.
up. And I'm like, but they're barely managing, and you can tell in their cash flow, in their
Mhm.
bottom line. So it's
Mhm,
really
mhm,
interesting. Mhm.
mhm. I want Telishia to tell her boss up story about how courageous woman became courageous woman.
Well, I was going through a troubled time. Sometimes you birth something out of something that maybe something bad that you're going through. And I was going through a challenging time, going through a divorce, and I was in a restart. And I moved
Mhm.
back to Michigan for a while, and I had Courageous Woman was just a blog. And I had a friend who had a thriving publication in Detroit, and I asked him, I said, what do I need? I want to go ahead and make Courageous Woman a magazine. I had worked for a magazine before, but I wanted to change the blog into a magazine. He said, well, you're going to need some money. And I'm like, you know what? I'm in the restart of my life. I don't have a lot of money. And actually, I looked at my bank account and I had $30. And I'm like, okay, I should be buying some dinner, something with this $30. But I said, you know what? I'm a believer, and I believe if you make those moves, no steps, God's going to come in and give you the provision that you need. And I had a background in sales and marketing, and I knew how to raise funds. So I'm like, okay, let's take this $30. It's a seed. And I had my brochure. I knew Photoshop, made my own rate sheets, and got out into the community and started talking about Courageous Woman, that it's going to be a magazine. And this community supported, friends supported. We put that first issue together, that $30 seed. We distributed 4,000 copies of the first issue. And
That
so,
is amazing. 4,000 copies the first issue. Most newspapers don't even have that as their base. And the
Facts.
first cover is so funny, just how things are. Just the first cover was Dawn uh, Jones. Is there
Jones,
more?
yes.
Don Jones, who is a reporter, anchor woman, who is a friend of mine. And I didn't know Talisha at the time, but Dawn Moore, who's big anchor woman in Michigan, was her first cover, which was so, synchronistic, when you said that. And they were in grocery stores. So mine is like really direct mail and online. Talisha's was in grocery stores, like distributed
Yeah,
around.
we were in grocery stores, churches, schools, everywhere throughout the Flint and surrounding areas, and some areas in Detroit as well.
Yes,
Outstanding.
that's
That's
amazing.
that's positive. That's the way to launch. And I think, sometimes people are like, "Oh, you need to have this like major thing." I do think I believe in starting where you are with what you have, and
There
then
you go.
letting the vision progress from there. And
It is.
so, oftentimes, people want to stay paralyzed because they're like, "Oh, well, if I can't do it like if I don't have global distribution day one, I'm not going to start." Like, nah, you gotta, hit your local community,
Mhm.
start locally, act globally, and move from there. So
There you go.
very,
That's
very
it. That
inspiring. And
is
then
it.
12 years later, look at this. Like,
Yes.
this
Yes.
is,
Shirley Ralph on the cover and all that kind of stuff. Jody Watley. She just kind of threw it like, oh, I've had Jody Watley on the cover and this and that. I'm like, okay. All right.
yeah.
That's one of the things too. And you realize the theme between all of us, and even like Letitia Nicole, she's not here with us, but we all started the business out of a vision, but it also was birthed out of a little bit of I guess you would say contrast.
Hmm.
Things that weren't necessarily perfect, things that were necessarily we could have looked at as horrible, could have taken us out, divorces, people losing jobs, losing property. When I started my company, I had nothing. Our company, my husband and I had, was closing. IRS took us down, and going in the elevator, going down. Had to about the elevator speech. I spoke to someone, and they ended up being my first client. So, out of things bad and tragic can be, if you keep your vision and keep the belief, bossing up, you can actually have things become bigger, and the vision catches on. And all of us too, we just have to talk it up. Tam was saying, yeah, I just talked to some people, and Talisha said, I just talked to some people. If they hear your excitement, they hear the vision, people will catch on with it. Same thing with you, Brian. We picked up the phone 7 years ago, and we heard each other's vision, and we were like, yes, I see it. Even when
Yeah.
other people can't see it, you need to be around people that see your vision.
Yeah, I one of the things I've got excited about recently is getting on trips, and I forgot about the train, I been we've been flying everywhere, and then,
Yeah, yeah.
even driving, but I forgot all about the train, like Amtrak. And so I've been, finding myself like jumping on like quick trips to DC and
Ah,
stuff like that. But the one thing I always forget about is that, like, if you're sitting on a train, like, nobody wants to be at the station like very long. Like, people want to be on a train that's going somewhere. And so if you can successfully communicate your vision, and
mm,
that you at least have the idea destination. You may not know every single stop, you may not know like how many other people are going to be on, but like if you can communicate, like, yes, like everybody wants to be on a train that's moving. And so I do think that being able to attach yourself, or to invite people to join something that's already in motion, is a lot easier than saying, hey, here's what I'm going to do. Like, this is what I'm already doing. You want to come? And people are
yes.
like, yeah, it's an easier yes, when there's motion involved. And speaking of motion, this cover, it is giving me spring vibes. So great job again, Pam. I'm always looking forward to these cover reveals. Tam, you're in a rare kind of club now. Once you get your blow up poster this weekend, uh,
Yes, yes.
that comes with a lot of benefits. So use it responsibly. Got a big lifestyle blow up cover that you could just use at any given time. But yeah, this looks incredible.
Yes, yes. And this is the Boss Up and Scale, your business event, launch your book in glamour and style. She's originally from Ohio by way of California, moving to Vegas. But that background is a California background. That's where she spent a good chunk of her adult life there. So that was that background there. So it is, CEO Deluxe Life Media LLC. She's a speaker, author. Um, reading this cover story by Sierra Black, you can understand where that entrepreneurial spirit came from. Her parents, a lot of inspiration from her mom. She talks about that in the article that Sierra wrote as well. So yeah, I just really really love this green. We're wearing the green today. That's part
Yeah.
of
And,
it.
and Tam, this is kind of like your branded colors, or did it just kind of go with the aesthetic?
Well, it just goes with the aesthetic. My branding colors come from, and you can't really see it now because usually when I'm on Zoom, you can see my background. But it's a horizon, right? So I'm always thinking about women with vision. So yes, exactly. So it's like you
Mhm.
cannot see the end of a horizon. If you look toward the horizon, you can't see where it begins or ends. It just keeps going. And it really takes somebody with vision to be able to see further than that. Just see as far as you go and keep going toward that, right?
Mhm.
So those are actually my colors. But this green is what I thought, okay, so it's April, it's springtime, it's all these things. And it's funny enough, this picture was taken a few months back, maybe about 4 months ago, with a photo shoot. And Pam said, Tam, I need a really good photo that you haven't shown anybody. I said, okay. And
That
I
was
said,
it.
okay, sit
When
down.
we saw that money green, it was like, okay, that's it. That's
Mhm,
it. Money green. That
The
is that
literal
is
money.
it.
mhm.
Yes, yes.
Well, let's dive into the inside, because I know we got a lot to cover. I know that Pam, you've been doing a good job, and obviously, we were just together up in Detroit for the Leadership
Yes.
Experience Tour.
Oh my goodness.
We'll be back in September as well. But
Yes.
first time kind of unveiling
Mhm.
the new service, Quick Media Coverage, which
Yes.
I think is really really popular for folks that are speakers, coaches, authors,
Mhm.
experts who are really really trying to get more visibility into the media. So I see we have this covered here.
Yes. And May 11th, actually, I think I'm going to be on it with Carol Malta.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, May 11th. So we definitely we're going to do a webinar on it to really explain to people about what quick media coverage is. I get emails all the time, and people's like, I really want to get out there, want to get some media going. How do I do it besides press releases and this and that? So really, I'll go over that whole thing about really making sure And it's kind of like what Kieara says. So many people started businesses, and so when you're starting a business, if you've been in corporate and you don't have a digital brand yet, and you don't have any PR, where do you start? And so, quick media coverage is a way to really brand yourself very quickly over, you know, 30, 60, 90 days to get some actual stories told about you in the press. That's really the whole point of it. Yeah.
And so you're going to be so what Pam is talking about is speakers within Black Speakers Network. We have the speaker development classes twice a
Yes.
month, and so you'll be joining the Black Speakers University faculty coming on, and looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then get
And
out
you know, I
there.
know Carol too. You know, I met Carol in the DMV area.
Well, you know, I think the speaker some of these things are kind of like family reunion. That's what was reminded of in Detroit, because I feel like I was like, oh, there's my cousin Kieara. What's going on? Like we're all kind of like connected, you know, some way, shape, or form.
It
But yes,
is.
she's looking forward to hosting you, and yeah, and then we got Ready, Set, Go, Speak. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Ready, Set, Go, Speak. Actually, the community of those that are wanting to learn PR from a membership standpoint about how do you pitch, what do you say, how do you get your bio together. Kiera knows I talk about these bios all the time, how to get these bios together. So we actually teach it in the membership program, and Kiera and Sierra are both community managers in that particular program. It's a monthly program that people can go and actually learn all the things I've learned over the last 2-3 decades, right? So it's all in that membership program. And then Get Out There, Get Known is a podcast that we do every single week where I'm really chatting it up with media people and PR people about what it is that it takes to get out there and get known. And
So,
I really, really like doing those
so
things. It's like,
you run two podcasts
yeah, I
technically,
do.
because you got Speakers Magazine podcast and then Get
Mhm.
Out There, Get Known. So
Yeah. Yeah, the Speakers Magazine is more the shining of the light on the speaker, and the Get Out There, Get Known, I guess you would say that's more or less like where I talk shop with media people and PR people. So it's kind of like you're fly on the wall, listen to like, yeah, you know, this is the real deal. Why don't people get this? You know, so it's like we are really telling people how to get out there and get known. So like last week, I did Joanne McCall, and she wrote a book called Media Darling. And so we talked about how to become a media darling on that particular podcast. So different from the speakers, which we were highlighting the speakers and their gifts and talents. Get Out There, Get Known talks behind the scenes of like what's really involved in the industry. Yeah,
and
yeah,
then next page we got Front of Desk of the Publisher,
yes,
which I
yes.
always look forward to, because this kind of sets the tone for the edition, right?
Yes. So this one was really talking about what really Tam talks about in her event. Like, so she has a how to launch your book in glamour and style. So this one was really talking about how to boss up and scale your business with a book. You know, obviously one of the first things, you've got to write a good book. You've got to host events, collaborate with other entrepreneurs, and focus on development. And so the book, you know, Brian, this is our collaborative book that we did here, you know, Speak Up, but it talks about how you did this. You know, you had an event in Detroit. The Speak Up book is part of the anthology that we did. And then obviously the Boss Up, you see the colors here. That's what Tam was talking about. The Horizon colors is really part of her colors. So really talking about bossing up and scale and the speaking up, but really how do people use books as far as marketing and branding? That's really what this is all about. A lot of people think that, oh my God, I wrote a book. I'm not making any money. I was like, honey, you're not gonna make money just on that book. Okay. It's like, you
It's
know,
the voice change for me. It's like the character.
yeah, I literally I get those calls all the time. They sound just like that. Like, I don't think my publisher is really telling me the truth because I'm not making any money on my books. I'm like, you're not gonna make money on the physical book. You may make less than $1 a book. Unless you're selling millions, it's not gonna work. You've got to do other things. So that's what we talk about, boss up and scale.
Well, one of the reasons I'm so excited about this, Dr. Berry, as I look at your brand, Kieara, Tam, like, and you, Pam, like, you all are great examples of like walking the walk when it comes to this stuff, because, you know, we're talking about how to boss up, and this is, you know, this could be
Boss up
applied to
and speak up.
anybody. Yeah, but writing a book, hosting an event, collaboration, and personal development, I think sometimes we get into the mindset as entrepreneurs, speakers. Sometimes it's like, oh, well, where's my next opportunity going to come from? And the word wait isn't even on this page. Like the word, beg, plead, pitch, like none of that is on this page. Like this is all stuff that you have direct control over. Like
Mhm.
the city of Las Vegas didn't, have to, wait for like Tam, you said, hey, I'm taking my event, I'm curating this experience. Dr. Barry, you're like, hey, I'm launching a magazine brand. Kieara, you said, hey, I see a need in the marketplace for VA services. I'm going to capitalize on it. But you didn't have to, and then you're going to collaborate, but you don't have to wait. And so I like this. This is like shifting the power from what kind of the calls that you get, Pam, which is like, oh, what was me? Like, what do I do? Like, when's my ship going to come in? To now, okay, this is what we're doing this month. Everybody, get ready.
And that is really the whole idea behind Boss Up. You don't have to wait for permission from anybody. You just need to believe in yourself. I think that's one of the most beautiful things about being an African American woman is that we already know that. We really do, in essence, really know that. We do start things out of necessity.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so many Black women businesses, actually the fastest growing sector, period. There's more Black women business, and that's been a necessity. And so we have to understand that no one is going to give you permission. We get that. So we start, right? You have to boss up. You can't wait for somebody to say, are you allowed? You don't have time for that. You got families to feed, you got things to do. So you have to boss up. You have to believe in yourself. And that's really what the whole thing is.
I want to give a shout out that reminded me to Dr. Missy Johnson, Fearless Women Rock. That was also part of it too. And you know her as well, Dr. Telishia. Fearless Women Rock and Dr. Missy. She is a person that definitely out of necessity, she started Fearless Women Rock, the movement. And she would definitely would be coming to this event. She has some other things that she had to do, but part of that collaboration of our community is her as well. Courageous women, fearless women, bossing up women, speaking up, Brian, speaking up and bossing up, all the things.
I met Missy. She definitely she definitely embodies that. And then we got Dr. Letitia Nicole B.
Yes.
Which is no stranger to Speakers Magazine cover, but she's featured in this issue as well. Is she speaking at the event?
She is speaking. Yes, she's going to be speaking on mindset. She's a transformational evangelist. She's going to be speaking on mindset, really like how to speak life to yourself. Basically, the bottom line of bossing up is believing in yourself. And she will give you her testimony about how she became so successful, starting from the standpoint of really at one point wanting to commit suicide. And where she is now. So she'll really tell you from the standpoint of like the depths of like where is the bottom of the bottom to wanting to not be here anymore to where she is now and running a lot of businesses, doing
a lot of business.
Yes.
Like she's one of the most impressive serial entrepreneurs that I've had a pleasure to meet on this platform, because the thing about her is that she's not afraid to sell. Like it's kind of like, hey, and it's normally we can kind of get niched down as like focusing on a product, a service. Like she is selling tea, she's selling like
if she's
services.
wearing a hat, if she's wearing a hat in one of her reels, she's got the hats from China sourced in and she's selling those too. If the people say, oh, I love that lipstick, she's got the lipstick line going. I'm like, what? And I was like, that does go with Speak Life. You got to have the red lipstick. Yeah. So yeah, she's a nurse by trade. That's her degree. Yeah. So that's a gift from God. That's
and then, And on the next page, we have two very familiar faces.
Yes.
Very appropriate. I don't know if this was on purpose. If they got y'all side by side, but that works for me.
I love these two pages, these two ladies. Actually, the designer said, he said, these are some really good pictures. I said, well, they're talking about PR and brand. And I said, I guess they would be, right? But he really did say, Dr. Telishia, he said, that's my favorite. He said, I said, what, the person your favorite? You met? He said, no, it's just my favorite. I just love this page. I was like, oh, okay. I said, because I was like, I can introduce you. What you talking about? It's like, this is your favorite.
I mean, this this is how it's connections.
Swipe left, swipe right. I was like, what are you talking about?
Dr. Barry, you might have some follow up to do after the webinar.
Yes, yes. So these two ladies will be speaking at the Boss Up event as well.
Now,
Um,
Kiara, what are you speaking about? Like, what's your topic at the event?
Yeah, so I'll be talking about once you actually get the boss up and you get those opportunities, where do you go from there? Do you have all of the things that you need in order to present yourself correctly? Because sometimes, which I've had people call me, they, oh, I want to be on a magazine, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'm like, well, do you have your speaker sheet? Do you have this? Do you have that? They don't have any of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, no one's going to call you back because you're not prepared. So we're
mhm.
just going to kind of talk about and making sure that you have those things that you need in order to be prepared and to be presentable when you're looking to get into media and really boss up in your career. So just kind of giving some of those points and then how you can outsource those things if you do not know how to do them yourself.
And
Yeah.
one of the things too that when people want to be certain places, they don't have systems. So it's like simple as setting up your calendar, whether it's Honeybook or whatever you want to do, schedule once, whatever. But you need a system so that you're not playing phone tag with people trying to get booked somewhere, right? Or a form. If you're a speaker, like have them fill out a form. So there's an intake form. I mean, there's simple certain things in your business that you need, or this is a pet peeve of mine. Kieara knows I talk about all the time. Is having a branded email, right? So if your name is Brian Oles, okay, yeah, you can have a Gmail, but also have Brian at speakers, blackspeakersnetwork.com. That just speaks to the professionalism of that. Those are just some of the certain
Making
things.
sure that you're together all the way around.
All the way around. If you don't know how to do it, then outsource it. I mean, we don't have to be the tech whiz at everything, but you just know that you need it. And that's one of the things that says, you don't have to know. I mean, just some of the systems of just setting up your calendar and setting up your form so that if you have a website and people want to book you, that it's easy for them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Kiara,
easy for you. It's automated.
Yeah.
We're all about automation.
Oh my God. Yes.
Kiara, you're a mother of five. Do you feel like you're do you feel like your the skills here and this like process and systems like carry over to that, or is the fact that you're, you know, kind of raising a family, building a business, does the skills like translate on both sides
Yeah,
to like
it
running a
absolutely
household?
have to, 100%. Because I have kids that are active, that are in things. I have a husband as well that I have to make sure I help manage his stuff because he's on the road. He owns his own trucking company. So he
Nice.
is gone a good amount of time. So just being able to balance, those things and have a set schedule. And when I know where I need to be, where they need to be, and have everything in line and systems and making sure it's all put together because I also have to squeeze and and balance as much as I can business along with that. So even with business I have timed tasks, so people will do two, like to-do lists,
Mhm.
but it's more general. Mine's is like from 9 to 5, for 9 a.m. to 9:05 a.m. This is what's going to be happening. Like it's literally down to the
Wow.
moment. Yeah, because I know that at 2:30 I have to stop because now it's time to go pick up the kids from school. So I can't
Mhm.
take any clients like that. So and I've
Mhm.
made it my schedule really around so even when my clients know when it's available, when I'm not available. But it has to be in both areas in order to not go crazy.
Mhm.
I feel
And she
that.
has really, really good kids. One of the
I
kids
do.
is wants a scholarship to Central Michigan University, all A students. Shout out to Megan on the
Yes.
dean's list. Full ride scholarship. So it says something when your kids do really, really good. Talisha knows this too. She's got two kids that do really, really fabulous. When you do good, you did a good job when your kids are doing good. So that's the pride of every
And
parent.
they're all older. Most of them are older except for one. I have two grown children, and then two in high school, and then I have a 5-year-old. So,
Wow.
Woo!
You got the spread covered. Well,
Amen.
hopefully you could train up some of the other ones and get that what's that tax credit where you put the kids to work
Oh
and
yeah, that's right. That's
yep,
right.
get
Mhm.
$12,500 for each kid under the age 17 and under. Just a little tip.
look, I was like, man, like
She
that's
knows it.
that's and I
We
want to give
do.
a shout out to Dr. Barry too, because you actually I see we carved out in an article your radio show, the Courageous Woman Radio Show. You've reached over 1 million listeners. So congratulations to that. Like amongst all these other accolades here too, I did want to call that out because that's quite remarkable.
It
Yeah.
was.
Yes, we're no longer doing that show. We're starting a new show now, but
Nice.
on streaming network show. But yeah, it was a lot of fun doing radio.
What's the new show?
It is Courageous People Speak. We have Courageous Women, but now that we have added men, we have Courageous Men magazine, and actually we're launching anthology the end of this month, The Heart of a Black Man.
Okay.
So that is, we got 30 authors, and so we wanted to make sure we are able to incorporate the men. So we just changed the name of Courageous Women Speak to Courageous People Speak.
Okay.
I
could see Courageous Ben magazine. Brian, I could see you on the cover of that. So we could he's very courageous. When he walked away from his job, how long has it been?
3 years, 5 months, 12 days, 16 hours. But who's counting? I mean, he's just round up. No big deal.
Yes. So that takes courage.
It'll be 4 years next month, on April 12th. So
that takes courage to do that.
And then on the next page, we have the cover story herself.
Yes.
Tam Luck is beautiful spread here.
This is written by Kieara Black as well. But the quote you have to see that is pull up is the biggest challenge I had in bossing up was learning how to get over myself. And she will explain it in the article. But if you want to talk a little bit, Tam, about what you really meant by that, Kieara talked to you for a good little while about it. But I think a lot of us can relate to that.
Yeah, I think that the thing that was slowing me up the most, because I've been in business for most of my life. My parents were entrepreneurs. I learned how to be an entrepreneur my whole life, but I wasn't a successful entrepreneur. For 17 of the years that I was in business, I was just struggling, trying to figure out what I really want to do. What was my message? And I think that what happened when I finally started to work was because I had to get over my ego. So when I was telling you earlier, in 2008, when I lost everything and I was laying on my girlfriend's couch and I was like just digging a hole and just feeling like I had really failed everyone around me, which was the feeling I was feeling. Like I was so smart and I had all these things going. I went from zero to $500,000 in a year, and I felt like when that turned, that I was a failure to my parents, to everyone around me, and I couldn't shake it. And because of that, that's what ruined me. So when it started to turn around, I had to learn how to get over myself. Right? I met this guy. I got a job with a developer. So I told you I have been in real estate for a long time. So I got a job with a developer after 2008. And this guy, at the time that I had lost $500,000, he had lost $50 million.
Ooh, Jesus.
Right? And so it's perspective. It's all perspective, right? Oh, okay, well, I didn't lose $50 million. Well, dang, right? So it was like everybody was feeling it. Just recently moving out here to Vegas, I was talking to a husband and wife. Husband's been a long-time developer here in Las Vegas, very successful developer. I was asking him how it is to be a developer here in Vegas. And he said, well, he started telling me his 2008 story. He said, and he told me how, he was, scheduled to do a big shopping mall, big box shopping mall, all these things. And they pulled it, and $48 million later, he said he didn't even want to get out of bed. Right?
Yeah.
Perspective. So I had to get over myself. Entrepreneurship has a lot of high points and a lot of benefits. And obviously, Kieara was talking about how she's able to stop at 2:00 and go get her kids. And you can't do that with a job. right? So those are a lot of beautiful high points of being an entrepreneur. And then, but you also got to take the highs with the lows and be able to manage the emotions behind all of it. And that's what I've learned how to do is manage my emotions, get over myself, get myself back up, make the turns I need to, make the pivots when it's necessary, learn always, be a CEO, look ahead, look for the big boulders coming, think always, strategize. I mean, it's a lot going on with the CEO, but you have to get over yourself.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think those such powerful lessons. I think I do think that in general, when you're starting out and you're going on this journey, you don't really know like the obstacles, or you don't know what's coming your way. You don't know if you're gonna get a deal right out the gate. You don't know if something's going to get pulled. But the thing that you can bet on, you don't have any control over those external circumstances. But what I hear you talking about, and I'm glad Kieara and several other folks are going to be talking about this, this mindset piece, is like you have control over yourself, like the belief in yourself, the fact that you can get up and just keep moving. By the way, for everybody watching right now, Speakers Magazine, we could put up on the screen. You can see the live issue here, speakersmagazine.com. The online issue is available, and so absolutely want to make sure that folks take a look at this entire article, because Tam, I know, and great conversation. We're distilling down some of the nuggets here, as you can see, but we want to really make sure that you get a chance to read this. And then, of course, for anyone interested in being part of Speakers Magazine, you have that opportunity to Speakers Magazine. I believe, Pam, we're booking for
May.
May and June.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I know
We have
we've been
one.
filling up fast.
Yeah, we got one slot open for May, but we're definitely for June for sure. That is a Juneteenth issue. So if anyone that's really in that space, that's the theme of it for Juneteenth. It's been getting bigger every year, but Juneteenth is really, really big as well. So
Perfect.
that is good. I want to say too, if they want to get tickets, it's not too late. They can even come to the gala, which is that uh, Thursday night. It's going to be a Boss Up Gala. It is go to the Bitly and Boss Up tickets. If you're in Vegas or California or whatever, make sure that you get there. I always say those that show up go up. So
So that's
please,
bit.ly/boss
Boss
up
Up
tickets,
tickets.
all lowercase.
Yes, yes.
Boss Up tickets. By the way, great. I'm always a fan of a good Bitly, Tam. So you got my respect on that, because I'll be like, man, because you can't get them if somebody else has it, right? So you
That's
have to
true.
have.
It's like a social security number. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now I know we're wrapping up. We got a couple more left. Dr. Barry, you good? Because I know you have a did you have a webinar like right after this or something?
Yeah, we're good. I'm good.
Okay, perfect. I want to make sure everybody. So you can go to the next page. We got the my article here, and thanks again, Pam, for this opportunity again.
Yes.
Speakers Magazine is the official magazine of Black Speakers Network. 3 ways writing a book elevates your value as a speaker, and so ties perfectly into this whole boss up
Yes, it does.
category. So thank you,
And this
Pam.
was a bestseller too, by the way. So wanted to make sure that people know that. They got the screenshot and everything up there, right? For real, for real. So yeah, that's one of the main things too. And that was an event that had her there when you came to Detroit to our African American Television Museum. So
Hmm.
to speak when it was at WGPR. So yeah, it's really just elevates you as a speaker. I mean, so many people have great messages, but if you don't have that book,
Yeah, it
to
really changes it changed I think the book changes the conversation at every level. It changes the conversation when you're being booked to speak. It elevates your
credibility.
credibility once you are on stage, and then you have something, because nobody's going to be able, like, I don't care if you're speaking for an entire day, like you have a very limited opportunity as a speaker to have real transformation in a 45-minute keynote. But I think being able to give your audience a next step to actually take that learning home, to be able to continue the to indoctrinate themselves into whatever transformation you're trying to provide, like a book does that.
Yeah.
audiobook as well. So I'm so glad that we're focusing on this topic.
Yeah, yeah. So make sure you read Brian's article. You can't read it on the screen right here, but make sure you go and read that particular one as well. And join Black Speakers Network too. It's the link down there at the bottom. Mhm.
Absolutely. We're rolling out we did this Detroit. We're rolling out BSN Power Talks this
Yes.
month. So
Oh
that's
my God.
exciting. So
I am too.
yeah, let's get some those are 10-minute keynote speaking opportunities on our platform for all BSN members. So looking for more speakers to get involved with that. And then we
Mhm.
got Dr. Crump. Is Crump,
Oh
right?
my, yes,
Dr.
Crump. Yes.
G Crump. Okay.
No, no related to Ben Crump, but even though she says she gets that all the time, but she's a PhD at JDLM, just amazing. This girl is such an award-winning educator. She loves school, obviously, all those degrees. I interviewed her on Speakers Magazine podcast not too long ago too, so you've got to hear her story. She is just living proof of that anything is possible, that you can achieve greatness, and she really inspires a lot of people to do that. So this was a whole boss up issue. I was glad that she was in this as well because she has started from the bottom and now she's there. I'm seriously just really, really a amazing person.
I say she's a lawyer, doctor, and then I don't even know what LLM even stands for. Do you
A
like?
license, I want to say it's a mental health person. Hmm.
That's crazy. So
Yeah.
3 domains. That's
Yes.
amazing.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Yes.
fun.
Yeah.
And then on the next page, we got Dr. Wendy. Is it Labat? Labat?
Labatt. Mhm,
Labat.
Labatt. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, she's a financial healer. Basically, one of the things her company is Financial Cure. She actually streams on Zandra TV network, but she is April. Shout out is April Financial Literacy Month. So Wendy is right in line with all of that because a lot of times women leave the financial piece like to someone else. So we want to make sure that that we are doing that.
And I
Yeah,
believe April is a National Financial
it is.
Education Month.
Mhm,
So very
mhm.
appropriate for that.
And this one here is something that people don't talk a lot about. That's Cheryl Walker Robertson. She talks about etiquette and protocol and rules of engagement. It's one of those things where people who, especially millennials and younger, they need to know certain ways of way to behave and to act. And so she really has just dominated that space for the last 25 years. Been in marketing and healthcare and airlines and executive development, but really talking about the protocol of ways to really engage and to run meetings, more than Robert's Rules of Order, but the whole etiquette of everything from eating out to what to say in interviews and just the whole thing. But those are her books right there that Dr. Cheryl, and she's done a fabulous. If you go to her website, you'll just see like, oh my God, she's very different. So when people want to engage a speaker like her, they will know that there's not too many, especially African American women, that do the type of thing that she does.
I would actually love to get her on the Black Speakers Network stage. And this
Yeah.
applies to you too, Dr. Barry, Tam, and Kieara. There's space for all 3 of you this year to provide programming. When I think about things like this, what Cheryl is doing with etiquette, I do see. I mean, we keep seeing these articles about. I think the pandemic had exacerbated this because we spent 2 years basically in the house, and so things like decorum and etiquette and just like politeness, just even how people say at the airport now you need to pack your patience to go anywhere. I see kind of like a breakdown of that, and so I would love to just be able to continue to share. And sometimes it's not even like an education, but sometimes it's just like a reminder of how we are supposed to act when we outside. And I think that will be, I think that's a helpful reminder for like everybody. So, and then
Exactly.
on the next page, we got Dr. Cosette White. I know she couldn't be here. Is she the one in the salon right now? Or was that
No, that was Letitia
oh.
Nicole. Letitia Nicole. But again, Cosette White, April was Financial Literacy Awareness Month. So she is one of America's #1 tax expert and accountant. She's won, if you read all the way, scroll down to the bottom, Dr. Cosette has won 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards, one from President Barack Obama and one from President Joe Biden. I was like, oh my God. I was like, she's won 2? I was like, so that's one of the little like, oh, by the way, at the very end of her article, right? But she is a great speaker. She's out of California as well. I don't know if you know her, Telishia. She's well, not that you got to know everybody in California, but
Yeah. Dr. Cosette is on the cover of Authors Who Launch. It's another one of our magazines. So
okay, this. So
last,
see,
yeah.
small world, small world. Yes. So Dr. Cosette is for sure one of those people that you definitely need to know. She is the money queen. She has CEO of My Financial Home Enterprises, a certified woman-owned firm, tax, accounting, and business management. Yeah, so she's doing the darn thing. She's got on that green too, money green.
And then we already talked about Speakers Magazine,
Yes.
Speakers Magazine
All
dot
the
com forward
podcast
slash get.
places. Yes, yes. And this last page, I'm really, really excited. It's it goes right with the green and the whole spring page is Dr. Stacia. The whole issue talks about bossing up and success, and this is just a great book into that whole issue about the success journal. My former pastor. She's in Orlando now. She was in Lansing, but she talks about her success journal, which really talks about writing and journaling. And we really, if you get the theme, you kind of catch that theme. Writing is really, really the key. Writing the vision and making it plain. So that's what this that whole particular thing talks about, getting the success journal. And I actually have one over here. They are so
Dang,
cool.
that's
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, it is. It's huge. Oh yeah, yeah. It's where your vision comes to life. So it has to be big. You got big visions. You got a big journal. Yeah.
I don't have nothing to say about it. One thing I do know is and you can take us out, Monet. One of the things I do know is that her daughter too is also a boss. Like I've
Oh
seen
my
her for
God. Yes,
years. Like she's a
Ariana.
powerhouse. Ariana, yeah.
Yes.
She's like, and another thing. I'm like, what?
And
Okay.
I saw her grow up, so that is her the truth. I mean, literally. I mean, it's been put in her since a child. So yeah, just seeing all the things she's doing is no surprise. It was like, yeah, your mom was a boss, so this is gonna be boss baby. So yeah, and she's having a baby, so she's probably gonna have a little boss baby too. So yeah, so it's going in 3 generations for them right now. So
Uh,
yeah, I'm really excited.
Well, ladies, I want to give you an opportunity to get the last word. We'll start with you, Dr. Berry, as we wrap up this conversation. First of all, thank you again. Congratulations for all of you for being featured in the April edition. This is a perfect way to kick off Q2 and the spring, if I may say so myself. But Dr. Berry, final closing thoughts that you want to leave Black Speakers Network community with, Speakers Magazine community, and then we'll go to you, Kieara, and then close out with you, Tam.
Well, I just want to say one of the things you actually mentioned, one of my talks is about starting where you are, using what you have. And that, a lot of the women here, that's what we did. We started with what we had. I started with a $30. I was missing some zeros. Okay. He said 30,000. I had $30. So I started where I was and created a brand that has carried me out of the country, around the world, and I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful to Dr. Pam, Tam, Kieara, everybody. I look forward to seeing these ladies this coming up weekend at the Boss Up. Yeah, so if you haven't got your tickets, get them now because we're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm gonna teach you some things about getting yourself out there with a book and how to turn your book into some dollars. So I'm looking forward to being there. So.
That is gonna be good. That is gonna be good. Yes, yes, yes.
Facts. I like it. Kieara, you're up next. Final thoughts before we
How do
wrap.
you follow up with that? She said a lot of what I wanted to say. I just thank you for allowing me to be on this platform. I'm looking forward to the event. I am super excited about it and looking forward to meeting some phenomenal women and people who are looking to boss up, and just also to remind you all that you don't have to do it alone. This entrepreneurship journey, it takes a lot, and being able to boss up and to brand yourself and get that book going, it takes a team. You do not have to do it alone. We are all here to be able to help and assist you in any way that is needed. Do not be afraid to reach out. Do not be afraid to connect. And we're here. And so again, thank you.
Absolutely. And last but not least, the cover girl herself, Tam Luck. Thank you so much. And any final words of wisdom that you want to share?
Well, I'm just so excited for all of this. I want to first of all thank you, Brian, Dr. Pam, amazing, Dr. Telishia, Kieara. I'm just so grateful for all of your collaboration, being able to be a part of this this moment is, not passing me by. This beautiful cover and this book is going to be very inspiring to everyone at the event. The event is, when you're in the event, you're creating this thing, you're like trying to make it happen. It's like you're just looking at the details. But I cannot wait till it really happens and people are there and they're like getting a chance to hear all of your brilliance, learn from all of your wisdom, and take their businesses and their lives to the next level. So thank you so much. And I cannot wait till next week as well.
Well,
I
cool.
can't either. That's going to be so good. Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
Y'all
Thank
make
you
me
for the
want to
vision.
absolutely continue. Like this is super inspiring. This is what a great way to kind of kick off the weekend. So to everyone watching, thank you so much again. Pam, an incredible job. Speakers Magazine is out. Be sure to go to speakersmagazine.com and check out the issue. And as we say here in BSN, keep speaking up because your audience awaits. And we will see y'all on stage. Have a great rest of the month.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you,
Thank you, ladies.
Brian.